Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulanamohammadqamar Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Friday, the 2nd of Muharram, 1445, corresponding with the English date, 21st of July 2023. This Majlis took place after the Magharib Salat at the Markaz, Masjidul Murshideen, Khushhal, Kapwara, Kashmir. Hazrat Wala starts off this majlis by reciting the ayat of the Quran Majid, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. Hazrat Wala thereafter goes on to say, Dosto, Buzrugo, Azizo, friends, elders, and most dearest ones, I am absolutely delighted on just seeing you. And this type of a spectacle is not found in other countries, due to which, meaning there is no this type of jalsa, there is no meeting of the common masses and the ulama, due to which there is no rubbed bond and connection between the masses and the ulama. The Islahul Muslimin jalsa, which was started off by Maulana Abdul Shakur Saheb, brought, our city there was really disgraced to a certain extent because of the different type of bid'at and other things that used to go on there. But because of the barakat of this type of jalsa that was carried out, much type of an upliftment and a difference came to the lives of people. Therefore, appreciate these jalsas. The gathering of so many people is absolutely amazing, and it is difficult to find in other countries. You people have undertaken difficulties also and have presented yourselves here. Allah Ta'ala make this successful, and most definitely there would be a faida in it. Maulanamohammadqamar Saheb used to say that when you go to these type of jalsas, then make a niyat. Make a niyat that, listen, what I am going to listen, then I will make amal on this year. And during the year you attend so many different type of jalsas, due to which you would learn so many things. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of doing this and listening with khulus and with sincerity. Wherever the mention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His zikr takes place, rahmat and mercy descends. In our diyar and at our place there, so many people don't even gather. Therefore, in this particular aspect, we are muqtadi, we are actually following and taking the cue from you. And how much of taraqqi there is here in the Magharib, here in the west here of our diyar, India. There isn't that amount in the Mashriq, in the east where we come from. And this place is a place of the Akabir. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb, if somebody used to come from this diyar, from this place to Allahabad, and there was some type of lack or deficiency in the nashta or in the way that we entertained these visitors and these guests, he would become disgusted. He was upset about that. And he would go on to say that these people came from the place of our Akabir. Nevertheless, I also make shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this coming and going and you people coming and going, the silsila is continuing. More amazing than anything else is that we are, sabse bari baat hai ki deen par sabit, to be established on the deen. This is something unique and great. Namaz, Salat, etc. I'll tell you about Mansoor Park. Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Saheb came there on one occasion in Allahabad, and many people gathered. And what did he have to say? one of his impressions and sentiments were, which he shared with the people, that this is a ni'mat of Allah for so many people together. We don't know that in the future will this even be possible, or will something like this year carry on or be appreciated, etc. So many people had gathered. So, usko ganimat samjo. Understand this, appreciate this. It is a great ni'mat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Make qadr of it. It is where you come to learn or listen to the talks of Allah and His Rasul. So, this type of gathering is something unique and great. From all of this, what you would hear, something and something you would make amal on. Hazrat Maulanamohammadqamar Saheb used to say that make niyat when you go and listen to awaz, that I am going to practice on something which I learn from here. Allah Ta'ala make this beneficial, this listening and speaking, make it beneficial for us. Now the first point or the first stage is that of isma'u, listen. After that is the next stage or the next step, which is that of i'malu. So isma'u is that of listen. If you do not listen in the first place, how then will you ever make amal? Therefore, listen to the talks of the ulama. Bahut bari ni'mat, bahut bari daulat. This year is a great treasure to come and sit and listen to the waz and talks of the ulama. And from this year, much can be achieved and much progress can take place. I was telling you about this jalsa which used to run under the name of Islahul Muslimin in Alahbadi. In fact, it stopped for a while as well. Who initiated it? It was Maulana Abdul Shakur and Maulana Abul Wafa. Due to which, after these jalsas took place over and over again, kaya palat gaya. There was like a revolution that took place, a great major change. So listen attentively and understand it this way, that these are the talks of Allah and His Rasul. When you listen in this manner, then you would make amal. Nevertheless, hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he states, ittaqillah haythuma kunta. Fear Allah wherever you may be. Allah har jagah mawjood hai. Allah is ever present, omnipresent. Allah is present everywhere. This hadith comes to mind so often when I am on an aircraft in mid-air, because different types of things come in front of us. And we even learn that if a person is behind so many veils, in so many chambers, behind 70 walls, or whatever it is, and he's doing some type of good, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make that apparent to the people. There were so many from the ulama and the awliya that hid away and carried out their a'mal, so much so that even their own spouses in their houses were not aware of what they carried out. And then after that, Allah made it apparent to the people. Similarly, when a person, he can be hidden so far and deep away and carrying out some type of sin, Allah Ta'ala will make that apparent as well. Therefore, be particular of carrying out good deeds and stay away from sins. Ta'at ka ihtimam and ma'asi se ihtiraz. Be particular, constant in the obedience of Allah, and stay far from sins. When you carry out good deeds, ta'at, you will get nur. Today, there is no nur because we are drowning in ma'asiyat and in sin. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to concentrate and place so much of emphasis, बहुत जोर फरमाते थे इस बात पर कि मासियत से बचो. Stay away from ma'asiyat. And then after that, when you carry out the dhikr of Allah, you will achieve a great deal. सब कुछ हासिल हो सकते हैं फिर. Taqwa, the matlab of it is also this, imtithalul awamir and ijtinabin nawahi, carrying out the commandments of Allah and staying away from His prohibitions. So fear Allah wherever you may be, whether you're in the jungles or in the city centers. Allah is present everywhere and Allah is aware of whatever you are doing. Labbo band, gosho band, chashm band. Gar nabini noor haq barman bakhand. So, do not look at anything which is evil, which is abhorrent, which you are not supposed to be looking at. Do not listen to that which is forbidden. Do not speak that which is forbidden. And then thereafter see what type of noor you will enjoy. You know, I remember very clearly the sound of music was coming. It was on a loudspeaker and coming into the private chamber of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb. He was a celebrated saint, accepted across the board. And then he looks at me and he says, Qamar Uzzaman, ab kaise bacha jaye? Tell me, how now are we going to protect and look after our ears? A buzruk, saint par excellence of that caliber has got so much of fikr that music is coming and settling into my ears. Sometimes he would take the newspaper and read, and then a picture would appear. He would immediately fold it up and put it aside. And then he would say, Ab kaisa bacha jaye? How would we now look after our eyes? So this is the complete essence of tasawwuf, to make hifazat of your eyes, ears, tongue and your heart. On one occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was on one conveyance with Sayyidina Fazl ibn Abbas when his eyes started wandering away and looking at a pretty woman there. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam physically took his Mubarak and blessed hands and turned his cheek and his face away from the direction in which he was looking. Similarly, to look after our tongues and our ears, not to listen or to speak of backbiting, complaining, etc. Don't say it and don't listen to it. Rather remain silent. But we cannot do that. We'll rather speak, even if it is useless and vain talk. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to send me that go and see. That was his idara, that was his institution, his khanqa, and he didn't want this, that what it was established for, the complete opposite the people are doing. Just go and see, are people not sitting and talking away there, useless talks, futile talks, sitting and just chatting away? What a umdah share is this. What lovely couplet this is. Labbo band, gosho band, chashmo band, gar nabini noor haq barman bakhand. Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia came on one occasion and he spoke about Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu dukhulu fi silmi kaffah. O people of Iman, enter into Islam in totality. And he spoke excellently on that. Nevertheless, after that I spoke and I started going deeper into what is actually the matlab of entering into Islam in totality. Meaning, not just this way or that way or customary or just singling out some few points of Islam, but completely and totally. Our aqaid, our beliefs, our ibadat, acts of worship, our muamalat, our transactions, our muasharat, our social conduct, and our akhlaq, our character. وَذَرُوا ظَاهِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَبَاطِنَا. Abandon the external sins and the internal ones as well. Ali radiallahu ta'ala an, like just how you heard now, was sitting in the Jami Masjid of Basra. Ali radiallahu ta'ala an enters the Jama Masjid of Basra. Or is it was it Basra or Dimashq? Basra. Okay. And then he sees many people sitting and giving waz. Nevertheless, he reprimands them, saying to them, who gave you ijazat to speak and give waz? I mean, in that time, you actually had to have ijazat for you to give waz. Who gave you ijazat? And then he started going to them and telling them that I will examine you, take an examination and test. If you pass, fine. You may remain and continue, but if not, you would have to leave. You're not fit for this here. Nevertheless, he comes across this young man, Hasan al-Basri, and he asks him the question that what is the foundation of this matter? Hasan al-Basri then answers by saying, al-wara, piety. And then he says, what is the destruction of this matter, our deen? He says, tama, having hopes, greed, attaching your hopes, your heart, your intention, your desires with all others other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ali radiallahu ta'ala was delighted and he said that, Hasan al-Basri passed his test. Like that, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam also took imtihan of the Sahaba. Today also, when a mansab and a position is given, first of all, what is seen? It is seen that does this person have batini isti'adad? Does he have that internal capability and capacity? On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab seen the people there in the Khanqa laughing. And then he was disappointed of that. He didn't like that. Especially after a majlis took place, he wanted to see some types of the effects of that majlis on people's faces, on them. But he seen the opposite, people were laughing, and then he said, from now, I want you people to write about your spiritual condition, your halat. Now, when you just go to a doctor and a physician, to do this is also extremely difficult. A person himself cannot even express what's wrong with himself physically. Then tell me, how much more difficult would that not be for a person who's spiritually ill? So waz is something very delicate. A person needs to know. He needs to know what is ta'at. He needs to know what's the manhiyat. He needs to know there's many things for him. Then only he can give waz. Nevertheless, ittaqillaha haythuma kunta. Fear Allah wherever you may be. This year is such a wonderful statement and hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where we are taught to fear Allah wherever we may be. But we human will err, falter and sin. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has also shown us the ilaj and the cure for this year, and saying that listen, وَأَتْبِعِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا, that if you commit a sin, then wipe it out by carrying out a good deed. Follow up that sin with a good deed and it will erase it. The good deed will erase that sin. So stay away from sin, and if the sin is committed, carry out a good deed to erase it. Andari ra mi kharasho mi tarash ta dame akhir dame farig mabash. In this path there are great sacrifices that a person would have to undergo, challenges, etc. But right till the end, don't leave yourself idle. Dame farig mabash. Be occupied, be walking this path in suluk, seeking talab in the search of the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaitan came and he came to one Buzruk saying to him, I have come to you to come and give you the glad tidings that you have been saved from my plot. That Buzruk then addressed the Shaitan saying that this is a plot and a deception of yours also. Listen, I'm not safe from you until or unless my ruh has left my body in such a state that I have left with Iman and with Islam. You are taking me and putting me and catching me into another net. And I didn't get saved from your plan and plot. Allah Ta'ala had saved me. So Allah Ta'ala give us all the tawfiq and the hidayat of making Islam. in this day and age to be established on the deen is something very great. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, just a few days before Hazrat Maulana Rabi passed away, when I went to Lucknow to the Shura there, what did I tell them there? When people were gathered from all around the world, I quoted the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to them, saying, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has stated, Al-Hubbu Asasi, love is my foundation. So if you want to achieve something and you have a tanzeem and you have a committee, there needs to be love. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is speaking more greater and vaster than that, saying my foundation is that of love. So stay together and do the work together with muhabbat. There will be barakat in that. And this type of agitation between people, the fasad, type of corruption that can creep in, all of that will come to an end. I am tired also, and from where to where we are coming. So, وَذَرُوا ظَاهِرَ الْإِثْمِ وَبَاطِنَ, be alert and stay away from external sins and internal sins. إِنَّ لِلْعِلْمِ طُغْيَانٌ كَمَا هِيَ لِلْمَالِ. Definitely for knowledge, with it comes a type of pride, arrogance, rather rebelliousness, just like how that comes with wealth. Rather, that type of arrogance or rebelliousness that comes with knowledge is something that is even to a greater extent, it is worst. It is worse. It is the worst of the two. وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. And die not except as a Muslim. So make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let us now make dua. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Maulanamohammadqamar wa barik wa sallim. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا واخطانا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Allah Ta'ala remove all difficulties, bless us with all khair and barakat. Allah bless us with His muhabbat, His ma'rifat, His nisbat, and bless us with a zindagi and a life of afiyat. Give us complete shifa. Allahumma aslih li fi dhurriyyati inni tubtu ilayka wa inni minal muslimin. Allah, rectify and bless our children with righteousness. Keep them qa'im and da'im, steadfast on akhlaq, hamdardi, ghamkhari, sharing pain of the next person. Allah Ta'ala will bless us for all these a'mal and give us the full reward of it in the akhirat, Jannat. Dunya ye jal rahi hai, baras kar bujhaiye. So let us present this character and these type of ikhtilafat, munaqashat, ghibat, complaining, backbiting, fighting each other, debates, all these things will then come to an end. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.